AOC is out giving lessons to anybody who's here illegally on what to do, what not to do, how to make sure you avoid ICE.
Because what you can do is protect people. The slower they operate, the less they can break. You hear me? This is why this is strategically important. The slower they operate, the less they can break. And so know your rights. If ICE comes to your workplace, if ICE comes to your door, you do not have to open the door. You ask them for a judicial warrant, not an administrative warrant. ICE very often tries to show you some official looking paper in order to intimidate people and to let them in. Again, remember, they rely on the perception of power. No. You don't just get some paper and let them in. You look for a judicial warrant. You look for a judge's signature on that piece of paper. If there is not a judge's signature on that piece of paper, you do not have to open the door. Number two, you can ask them to leave. If they do not procure a warrant, you can ask them to leave. You can stay silent. If they have detained you, you can say, I would like to remain silent. You invoke your right. You do not have to share personal information. They want to know what your immigration status is. Even if you're a U.S. citizen, if they want to ask you, are you a U.S. citizen? You tell them, I don't have to answer that question. You tell them, I do not have to answer that question. You do not have to. They ask you where you were born. I don't have to answer that question. They ask for your immigration status. I do not have to answer your question. They do not, unless you are being officially detained.
So I'm just wondering, let me just throw this out there. I mean, she goes on and on, right? Like it's a full-on tutorial on what you can do if you're confronted with ICE. Isn't that in part impeding the federal government? Isn't that exactly what Tom Homan was just saying? Like anybody who's standing in the way? Isn't that exactly what the White House has said? Like they have the jurisdiction here. So if you're going to stand in the way, then guess what? AOC, you run the risk of finding yourself in jail. Letitia James, you run the risk of finding yourself in jail. And guess what? Ilhan Omar, same deal with you, honey baby. Look at her out there. She's speaking her native language to people trying to tell them not to be outdone by AOC, exactly how they, too, can avoid ICE.
Libanat Ilhan Omar, oo dhawaan la hadashay saxaafadda, ayaa tala bixin siisay dadka sharciga aan haysan ee ku nool dalkan.
Waxaan ula talinayaa dadka Soomaalida ah and haddii
we don't have to listen entirely to that because you know what I don't speak that language. I speak a lot of languages, but not her language. But I will read you the interpretation. She's saying the same thing. You're not obligated to answer their questions. Just state that you're advised by a lawyer to not answer their questions. So they want to just basically stop ICE in its tracks. And this is the same message. They're going to get it out in a lot of languages, I guess. And I just question, like, are they not at this point, like Ilhan Omar giving a seminar on this, AOC giving a whole tutorial live on this? Are they not in somehow violation of federal law? I think they are. Again, let me just go back to Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4. And you know what? If you're not happy enough with that, you can go to the Commerce Clause because it spells it out in the Commerce Clause as well. You do not have a leg to stand on here, liberals. And by the way, you didn't always used to want this. I should point out, I mean, it was, after all, Barack Obama that deported the most people I think that we had ever seen. And he was very sort of proud of that. I mean, there used to be a time not so long ago when Democrats were actually on the side of making sure that we had people here legally, not illegally. And how is this so crazy? I'll tell you, it's setting up a real disaster. But they want that. Don't forget that. They want that. Quick shout out for our friends over at Balance in Nature. We love them, right? Because they keep me healthy. Balance in Nature. Use code word Trish. Our really good friends. They're 1-800-246-8751. Balance of Nature. Use code Trish. I take my fruits and veggies every single day. I do credit my health. I got to knock on wood because who knows, right? But the kids have been sick a lot and yours truly is doing okay. So I think it's in part because I do actually try to take care of myself, and that includes taking my vitamins every day from Balance in Nature. They send it to my home. You can get 30% off off right now. You can also get free shipping and you get a money-back guarantee. Just go to balanceandnature.com. Check out the testimonials. Make sure you use my code Trish. It helps the show. You're helping yourself. So take a look. It really is. I mean, I think I sort of swear by it, but, you know. So far, so good, shall we say.